तो सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। तदेजति, we'll chant the mantra. तदेजति तन्नैजति तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः। Sorry, earlier mantra I missed. I'll now do the fourth one. Anejadekam manaso javiyah Anejadekam manaso javiyah Nainaddeva apnuvan purvamarshat Nainaddeva apnuvan purvamarshat तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तद्धावतोऽन्यान् अत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। We often find the Shastra is full of contradiction. Is talking something which we feel that these two things are not possible at the same time in a one vastu. Like even Shastra saying, na baddho na muktah, na guru na shishya. It is neither bound nor free. It is neither guru nor shishya. Like that, so many. In the Bhagavad Gita also, there is one shloka, which there is a mantra. I mean, the root of that shloka is here after one or two mantras. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmannevanu pashyati. Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani. One who sees the self in the all beings and sees the all beings in the self. This is contradictory. So also here it says, Tadejati, Tannaijati. It moves and it doesn't move. Same thing in a last mantra. Anejadekam manaso javiyaha. Anajat. Aja means company, movement. Ajana means gati. Ajana means changes, modification. There is no modification, and at the same time, anejad ekam, at the same time, it is non-dual, and it says manaso javiyaha. It moves faster than the mind. It doesn't move at all. It doesn't shake at all. That's fine. Doesn't move. Why? The answer is ekam. It is non-dual. Since it is non-dual, it may not move because it is all pervasive. So there is no space to move. There is no modification in it. But then, very next sentence, it says, Manaso javiyat. It moves faster than the mind. Its movement is quicker than the mind, swifter than the mind. How is it possible? As I said last time, this is mentioned from two standpoints of view. One is the statement is from the standpoint of the Jagat, that which is obtaining as of now, and the other is the standpoint of the Vastu, from the Swarupa of the Vastu itself. Means the cause, Brahman, by Swarup, by nature, what it is, and that Brahman as a world, what it is. This contradiction is there because of a peculiar relationship of cause and effect. Brahman, the cause, Ishvara, the cause, and the effect, the Jagat. What is that peculiar relationship? It is all pervasive and it is beyond everything. It is all pervasive and it is unaffected, uncontaminated, untouched by anything. Very peculiar relationship it is. Whatever is an effect, in a known words equation, I say these two sentences differently. The effect is non-separate from the cause. Effect is not independent of the cause, but the cause is independent of the effect. You may say, Swamiji, that is true for everything. Ornament is not independent of the gold. Ornament depends on the gold. And the gold is independent of the ornament. That's understandable. But then, in all these examples, in clay and pot, pot is an effect, clay is a cause. The cause per se undergoes some change in whatever form, some change intrinsically also. Like pot, the clay needs to be kneaded. Water has to be added, and therefore it has some changes. Here the cause is, we have seen in Tattva Bodha, Vivarta Upadana Karana. Without undergoing any intrinsic change, it creates the effect. That being the case, I have to use the word without undergoing any intrinsic change, it manifests as an effect, which may appear to be totally in opposition, totally contradictory, totally different from the cause. Exactly like our dream. I am the creator, but the dream world is totally appears to be different, opposite to what I am, where I am. I am maybe in my bedroom with AC on and have had a sumptuous dinner a few hours ago, but I see myself as a hungry person moving around in a desert, that too in a daytime in a hot sun, and find myself thirsty. This is a peculiar relationship. So, Ishvara is all pervasive and at the same time beyond everything. When you say all pervasive, then when you destroy the effect, sometimes the cause also gets destroyed. Like cotton is all pervasive with reference to this piece of cloth. But if I burn this, cotton also gets burned. And in creating the effect, the total quantity of cotton I had, however minimum, but that much quantity gets reduced in creating the effect. That is there. Even the golden ornament, the total gold undergoes some change. You have to heat it up, you need something to change it. But here, the cause-effect relation is very peculiar without undergoing any change. There is an appearance of effect. And that is why what causes appearance, that karanam, is called Maya. Why it is called Maya? Because it creates appearance. It's not real. Like in day-to-day also in India languages we use a magic, like converting a rose into tea. It appears to be converted, but it has not been converted. There is some trick. You cannot create tea out of the rose. Yes, tea out of the rose. But that creative power is, we call it magic. And in English, whatever right word is, Sanskrit word is Maya. So creation is a Mahic creation. And that being a case, what appears is also the cause, and cause is not what it appears. These are all two contradictory statements. Means it appears when you see the tea, you say it is out of the rose, but then at the same time it is not out of the rose. So also we chant this, the famous mantra, if I quote, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva Atyatishtat Dashangulam Purusha Ishvara Brahman Sahasra Shirsha Sahasraksha. Then with 1,000 eyes, 1,000 legs. The word 1,000 in Vedas and tradition is used to indicate infinity. It has infinite heads, infinite legs. That means it is all pervasive. Next sentence is Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva. It pervades the entire creation. Vishwatah Sarvatah, in all way, it pervades the creation. And then it says, Atyatishtat Dashangulam. It is all pervasive and it is beyond. There is no beyond. When it is all pervasive, you cannot have beyond. The word beyond means unaffected, untainted, untouched, uncontaminated. That is what the point is. That means the creation is adhyasika, mayika. Therefore, to communicate the vastu from the standpoint of this jagat, you may find contradictory words. He says, anej dekam. The truth, or let us relate to the self. The self is taken to be the one who is moving, either always changing. I take myself to be physically changing, mentally changing, cognitively changing. You take yourself to be always changing. You see the whole world changing, undergoing lots of modifications. There is nothing which is same. It keeps on changing, whole world all the time. What appears to be non-changing also changes. We think that the mountain is not changing, but mountain is changing. Therefore, geologists say this mountain is so many millennia old, born. They say Himalayan mountains are young mountains, Alps are old mountains. They say this. Why? From the Vehvara, from the obtaining thing, and from Paramartha, from the Jagkarya and from Karana. When it is told something from the Karya standpoint of view, that is refuted from the Karana standpoint of view. I am changing. I find myself happy, unhappy, sometimes stressed. Sometimes I feel guilty. Sometimes I feel hurt. Sometimes I feel disappointed. Sometimes I feel irritated. Sometimes I feel satisfied. All the time the self is changing. No, you are not changing. The world is changing, It says, no, it is not changing. Because to know that it is changing, you ought to have something which is non-changing to measure the change. Like you have to be on the platform to know that a train is moving. Similarly, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra na muhyati. Body undergoes all changes. To negate the superimposed changes upon I. That what I was a toddler, I was a child, then I became a teenager, and then I am young, then I am middle-aged, then I am old. This all superimposed on I. To negate these superimpositions on I, it is told you are not changing. The entire Jagat changes. But what doesn't change? The isness, Sadvastu doesn't change. It is non-changing Vastu, and that is you. Therefore, Anejat. It doesn't move at all. It doesn't have any modifications at all. It doesn't have any movement at all. And why it doesn't have? It says Ekam. I is one, non-dual one. Therefore, in no language of the world, see, there are lingas, means sex of things, masculine, feminine, neuter, gender. You have a gender, not sex. You talk of a gender. But gender belongs to body, not to the consciousness. It is I, and it is I. It doesn't that I and I changes. A girl saying it is I, and the masculine sensing I, that difference is not there. It is non-dual. The differences and the changes is only with reference to body-mind complex, consciousness per se, with it being non-dual. In all these varieties, in all these multiplicities, there is one which is free from any kind of multiplicity or variety, that is you, the consciousness. Therefore it is says, Ekam Ane, and then he says, Manaso Javiya. If it is not changing, that means, see, this is the last time I told you, from the known words, teacher has to take the student to unknown vastu. The words having a limited meaning, word having a specific meaning, the teacher has to reveal that which is limitless, which is free from any attributes. That's how it is. Then the question may come, if it is not changing, that means the world that is changing is independent? No, 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 no. It is not another reality. Manaso Javiya. It is faster than the mind. To convey the all-pervasiveness, it is told it is faster than the mind. And to convey the vivarta nature of the Jagat, that this creation is only an apparent creation. There is no real creation. It is said it doesn't move at all. Manaso Javiyaha. Anejat Manaso Javiyaha. Doesn't move, but there is, without it, no movement is possible. To imply that, it is said it is faster than the mind. Whatever movement takes place, it is in the consciousness. This is a peculiar, that there is no example for Ishvara's Maya Shakti. From one static, we can create another static, but you cannot create a movement. There is a movement in the creation, changes in the creation. But all the changes are nothing but superimposed on the vastu. Therefore it is said, Nayejati, Anejati. But then without the substratum, superimposition doesn't have any existence. It cannot move. To convey that, it is said, Manaso Javiya. Exactly like the light in a movie. When you watch a movie on a cinema screen, light is something which doesn't undergo any kind of modification, any kind of changes. It's changeless. It's nirvikara. It is free from any movements. But the question comes, where does the movement belong to? He says it reaches faster than all movements in the movie. Meaning that what? It is the substratum of all the movements. But the movements does not affect it. Movements does not touch it. It cannot contaminate it. That is asangata. Sarva Vyapi, at the same time asangaha, to convey that. Just by the way, detachment, people talk of it. Be detached, this is standard advice. Some Mahatmas and some people talk. And they say, we have to be detached, as though you are attached, I don't know. Where are you attached? It is not like a trailer that you get married and you get attached like a trailer truck, Those US trucks, there is a truck and then behind is the whole trailer. There's no attachment. You have to be detached. be detached, and people say, I'm trying to detach. First of all, there is no attachment. You are already detached. What is detached? What all changes are there? I am Sakshi. If you look at your mind, I have to be detached from my worries. I have to detach from my office problems. I have to detach from my this problem, that problem. But these problems belong to mind. It is a vyavhara. You are untouched. You illumine those problems. Like electricity is detached, light is detached. Why? Even if there is a fire on the screen, light doesn't get burnt out. Even if there is a flood on the screen, things get washed out, nothing happens to light. Even if there is a tornado, all things are broken and wind takes away, but it cannot take the light. That is called beyond. That is called detached. Detachment is what? In spite of being pervasive, it is not absence of involvement. In spite of involving, light is involved in the entire movie, still it is untouched. That is possible only when you discover that the light is the substratum upon which it is all superimposed. Whom we call hero is only a name and form. Whom we call heroine is another name and form. Whom we call villain is also another name and form. And whom we call fight between hero and the goons of the villain, it is also name and form. Light is all pervasive, but still unaffected, detached. Understand the word unaffected. Understand the word detachment. It is not absence of light being there. In spite of being all pervasive, it is unaffected. Wise person is detached, he or she knows, in spite of being involved in the activity, I am unaffected as a consciousness. It is a play of one upadhi with another upadhi. It is a play of one object with another object. And that feelings are also at the level of mind. Emotions are also at the level of mind. That doesn't mean, oh, wise man is a witness, so you should not feel anything because you are witness. And then this witness word, see, every word has a limited meaning. Every word has a potential to create a confusion. I would say not create, the confusion is already there to solidify that creation. Every word is like RCC, you getting a water, it becomes solidified, cement. Even it is RCC concrete liquid, and you put a water for 2 days, it just becomes unbreakable. Sakshi. So you watch a movie and you don't have emotions. No. I am Sakshi. I should not feel anything. I am Sakshi. I should not have any emotion. Here this mind is not Sakshi. Emotion belongs to mind. And as long as you will the body, you will feel emotions. Just as a body, this body will fall sick. The wise person may have fever. Wise person may have corona. It's okay. So far, I have not come across wise person having corona, because the one who are wise in terms of Brahman, they are wise in Vyavhara also. Unless he has a strong prarabdha. Samsar se nikalna hai, The prarabdha is so strong that he has to get released from these apparent limitations of the body. Then he or she may get corona. But so far, not. He get a corona. He may have a fever, body ache, headache, some uneasiness. You feel the pain. But there is an awareness. I am not the body. It is the body. It has to feel it. And I am building the body. I may feel it momentarily. But that I is conditioned. That is Chidabhasa. That is feeling. But Chaitanya per se, Atma per se, doesn't have any pain. It is at the mind level, conditioned by the mind that feels it. But that condition by the mind is beyond mind. I am not that. So, Sakshi, in spite of feeling, I am conscious that this is really doesn't belong to me. I am Satchidananda. Therefore, there is a famous incident of Ramana Maharshi. He had a throat cancer, tumor, malignant. It was those days, there was no medication so much available, and he lived in a forest on a hilltop, Arunachalam mountain. A lot of pain must be there. So people used to come and sympathize. Oh, Swamiji, you have a lot of pain. He said, please remember, it is not the eye has a pain. Body has a pain. That is unattached. Understand? It's okay, you have a pain, fine. Like actor crying on the stage. He's aware that I am crying, but that out of pain, it may be excruciating pain. An actor may not be even crying, wailing, but then he or she knows it is to the role, not to I, the role player. The pain never belongs to that I. That awareness, that spacing is there. And therefore it says, Manaso Javiyaha. It is faster than the mind. Nainat Devaha Apnuvat Purvamarshat. Here, Devaha means sense organs. Dyotanatmakatvat Devaha. That which reveals, that which illumines sense organs, reveal or illumine the sense objects. So etymologically, in Shastra, sense organs also referred as Deva. Devatas cannot reach it, cannot know them. Okay? Why? Simple. It is the very substratum of the sense organ. The sense organ has a capacity to illumine. It is because of the consciousness. Last time I told you, the torch has a capacity to illumine. That capacity is because of the borrowed light. Capacity is borrowed from the cells that are behind. You know, understand this word behind also. Self is behind all the sense organs. There is no physical behind. It is not that the self is sitting behind the eyes. Self is sitting behind the ears. And if someone becomes deaf, that doesn't mean self is gone away. And it is there. You know, behind means what makes ear a ear, that is self. I can explain better in Sanskrit. The ear is called Shrotra. Why it is called Shrotram? Definition is Shruyate Anena iti Shrotra, by which you can listen. That organ which can illumine the words for you. But since illumination capacity of the ears to illumine the words, it is not its own. It belongs to the consciousness because of which it illumines. So it is said, Shrotrasya Shrotram. It is the ear of the ear, eye of the eye, nose of the nose. They don't imagine there is a nose inside. Consciousness is with eyes and nose and everything. No, you cannot. What makes an ear as a ear is that vastu. Like you can say, what is electricity? That's a better example for me. Electricity is in a way nirgunam, free from any attributes. But electricity refrigerates the thing for you. It cools. Electricity heats up the thing for you in oven. And it is because of electricity, oven heats up the thing. It is because of electricity, you have a hot water in your geyser, water geyser, etc. Then you can say this for electricity. This is a better example. An African aborigine who had not seen the light of the day, doesn't know electricity, doesn't know anything in this modern technology. Then that fellow suddenly ends up in modern house and sees the refrigerator working, oven working, geyser working, etc. Then he gets so excited, he says, when I go back, I want to take this white or grey cupboard. If it is a grey fridge, it wants to take it. Then you have to tell them that this cupboard, this fridge is cooling because of electricity. The capacity to cool doesn't belong to the fridge. So you can say, this is a figurative usage. Electricity is the refrigerator of refrigerator. Refrigerator of refrigerator. Meaning what? What makes a refrigerator is capacity to cool the things within. Moment its machine is out of order, then it is nothing different than a cupboard. Though it is a refrigerator, you call it a refrigerator. But then it is a cupboard. It's no more refrigerator. In Gujarati, a very nice word, tube light. So you can say electricity is a refrigerator of a refrigerator, tube light of the tube light. What is tube light? That which gives you light, which emits light, white light. That's light. In our local, this electrician, technician, whenever they come, suppose it's the electricity choke is burnt out or some problem, then you tell him, please look at this tube light is not working. A typical Gujarati word they say, oh, dhoko udi gyo che. Then it is a dhoko. A tube light kaisa nahi. Tube light to che jo light ape to. Baki ye dhoko che. There is another word, dhoko, they call it. Means a tube light incapable of producing light is called dhoka. It's no more a tube light. Similarly, refrigerator is refrigerator as long as it cools. But its cooling capacity belongs to electricity. So it's a figuratively told, electricity is the refrigerator of the refrigerator. It is the geyser of the geyser. It is oven of the oven. Don't imagine electricity is oven. Understand? Similarly, the whole world functions, it is because of that. Therefore it is said, Manaso Javiya. Nainat Deva Apnuvat Purvamarshat. The electricity can never be illumined by the tube light. Because the illumination capacity of the tube light is borrowed from electricity. It doesn't belong to its own. Therefore it is said, Devaha na. The gods, means sense organs, can never illuminate it. Anejadekam manaso javiya nainad deva purva apnuvan marshat devaha na purvam apnuvat. It is earlier than, it reaches earlier than the sense organs. Stationary, remaining stationary, it is still moving. Purvam arshat, remaining at one place, it keeps moving everywhere. Taddhavato anyan atteti tishtat. Anyan dhavataha atteti. All that are moving, Tishthat atyeti, remaining stationary, it runs out, it reaches out all that moves. See the contradictory. Meaning thereby anything that has a capacity to move, it is borrowed from the consciousness. The very substrate. Taddhavato anyan atyeti. It runs, it crosses over all the moving parts. It overtakes. Like any running in the movie, electricity overtakes them. It is beyond. Why? It is the so-called movement is because of it is borrowed from electricity. Anyan atyeti. And he says, Tasmin apo matarishva dadhati. Tasmin sati apaha matarishva dadhati. Matarishva tasmin apaha dadhati. Matarishva gives apaha. What is apaha? Means water. Water is a symbol of liquidity, fluidity. And in yajna, the oblations are ghee, milk. They are oblations, they're fluid. So, sometimes in Shastra, apaha word is used for karma phala. Tasmin apaha dadhati. Who dadhati? Matarishva dadhati. Matarishva primarily, etymologically means vayu. Matarishva, the Vitpatti is Matari Shvayati. Matari akuntita gatihi yasya saha Matarishva. Matari means in the space. Not Gujarati Matari. In the space. Akash. Shvayati, which moves in the space. Which cannot be stopped when it moves in the space. Akuntita gatihi. You cannot obstruct it. That's so powerful. So Matari Shvayati iti Matarishva. That means Vayu. And the Vayu is also used for Prana. Prana is also Vayu. So the Prana gives karma phala. And Shastra, Prana word is used for this pranapana, vyana, udana, samana, what you talk of, and prana is used for hiranyagarbha also, Brahmaji. Tasmin sati. So it says not only the objects of the world, but even a Brahmaji, one who creates the world. The Brahmaji who gives karma and creating the world means what? The world is created according to situation. Everything according to karma phalas. Matarishva, Brahmaji can give karma phala. Brahmaji can create this world according to karma phalas. How? Tasmin sati. Only when that consciousness is. Even Brahmaji is also illumined by consciousness. Okay? It is that Brahma is not away from the consciousness. That means the law of look at it differently. The nature, I have talked to you earlier, the creation is sustained by various laws. Order, physical order, chemical order, zoological order, biological order, psychological order, these are all orders. All the orders work because of that Matarishwa. That's what Bhagavan conveys. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamash. Vaishvanara is also Niyama, order. What a processing house. This tummy. Anything you dump, it is sometimes like a garbage house. People eat garbage. And Swamiji, it may be hurting sometimes. I mean, it's for a person who uses non-veg, who eats non-veg. To eat a non-veg, you have to kill the animal. Correct? Human being cannot eat flesh of a live animal. They kill it and roast it or fry it or whatever they do it. So the killed one is kept here in the tummy. So Swami used to say, don't convert your stomach into burial ground. He used to say, it is not a burial ground for all dead animals that Bhagavan has given you. That's a good way of looking at it. It's not a burial ground. You bury the body, dead persons. Well, you put the dead here, animals are dead. It's not a burial ground. Anyway, coming back to this, what an order. Whatever you eat, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, whatever color, whatever may be ingredients. Nowadays, people are very conscious, For proteins, you should eat this, and for vitamin C, you should eat the lemon because it is vitamin C and blah, blah, blah. For energy, this and that. Whatever may be the benefit, all things are processed in such a way that it produces only red blood. What a processing house. That Bhagavan says, that processor law is me. Any niyati, order is me. So we can look upon all the order, Surya, Chandra, Vayu, Agni, etc., as Ishvara. We pray also, Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami, Rutam Vadishyami. It is Ishvara, manifesting as Vayu. Or you can see it as a expression of Ishvara. Therefore, Hindu culture worships all natural forces, natural order. We pray Surya Devata, we pray Chandrama. What a cultural perception. In India, every vernacular culture, You may see different shades of culture. Tamil Nadu is different, Kerala is different, Odisha is different, Bengali is totally different, Gujarati is different. There's one East Coast, another is West Coast. North Haryana is different, South Kerala Tamil different. But in all culture, every mother will tell the baby showing the moon as Chanda Mama. Moon is Mama only. Mama means mother's brother. That is Ishvara. So we worship moon also because that order is Ishvara. Brahmaji creates and sustains. It's not a static creation. This creation is very moving, always in a state of flux, and that movement takes place due to various laws. And those laws are nothing but blessed by that tattva. Tasmin mahatarishva apastadati. That means it is, see the limitations of the word blessed by I have to use. All the laws can function because of it. The entire sustenance is possible because of it. Therefore, as a form, the sustainer, that Adhishthanam is called as Vishnu, Sthitikarta. Though it is formless, but I have told you earlier, mind can comprehend only forms. So the form is given for our benefit. Sthitikarta is doing sthiti, is able to maintain sthiti only because of consciousness. And even when sthiti is not there, consciousness is. Therefore it is said, Tasmin matarishva dadhati, and at the same time, Attatishtat dashangulam. It is beyond 10 fingers. How can it be beyond 10 fingers? That means every activity is possible by mere presence without doing anything. It causes all activity. All activities derive their satta, capacity to act and do the thing only because of consciousness, from consciousness. But at the same time, it doesn't cause anything. It is devoid of all kinds of activity. Like sun. It is a sun only that causes electricity, solar panel. Solar cooker, it causes heat to cook the food. Solar geyser, it causes heat to heat up the water. But then all that is done without it doing anything. It is responsible for everything in a way, because all things are possible because of it, but on its own, it is independent. Therefore, this is Sve Mahimni Tishtati. It abides in its own glory. That is why, now please understand Hindu culture. That is why all our Bhagavans are not doing anything. Shivji is always in Samadhi, and Parvati runs around. Vishnu is sleeping, reclining on Sheshanaga. Swamiji would say, the first ever mattress, coir mattress, was discovered in India. He just sleeps without doing anything. And Brahmaji just keeps listening to Saraswati's Veena. That's what this symbol. It conveys this principle. Without doing anything, by mere presence, everything takes place. Like the presence of the president, everything becomes clean. When the president comes to some place, all the roads are recarpeted. All the encroachments are removed. Buildings are painted because president. He doesn't tell them to do. By his mere presence, things takes place. That is why, as I said, our Bhagavan is just sitting without doing anything. Prakriti is doing seva. His wife is symbol of Prakriti. Maya Shakti. He doesn't do anything. He neither tells her or does stops her. But Maya has to do by his presence. He or she enlivens the Maya to create the world. Tasmin napo matarishva dadati. Matarishva gives karma phalam. But that karma phala is order, which maintains the creation. That order is maintained because of that Ishvara. But he doesn't do anything. Therefore, in Sanskrit they say, Sannidhi matrena, by mere presence. As the sun, Surya Devata, by its mere presence on the horizon, solar panel starts producing electricity. Another kind of solar panel starts producing heat and heating up the water. Another solar panel starts heating up or cooling up the refrigerator if it is connected by mere presence. That is the word Adyaksha. Bhagavan says, Mayadhyakshena prakrutihi suyate sacharacharam hetunaneva kaunteya jagadviparivara. All vikaras, parivartanas, modification takes place in the world. I am the cause, but without any modification. Maya Adyaksha, just by sitting. And therefore we say our Devis, Parvati Devi for Shivji and Lakshmi for Vishnu will say, I cannot survive away from you. It is not emotional dependence. It is not like modern teenager, I love you and I propose you. And then I'm incomplete without you. Shivji is not incomplete without Parvati. It is a symbolic. The creation takes place by his mere presence. The creative Shakti gets activated. Maya's creative Shakti gets activated by presence. Solar panels get activated as though by mere presence of the sun on the horizon. To convey this, gods are made. To convey this, they are not doing anything. No, I'm sure Vishnu is lying on that core mattress, says like this. Poor fellow is lying since millennia. He would have an elbow problem or frozen shoulder problem. It will be like this only. He cannot then move with the hand also. It doesn't happen. It's not real. Shivji always in samadhi. It is not the nirvikalpa meditation Shiva doing all the time. These yoga fellows say, Shiva is a nirvikalpa meditation. Nonsense. What nirvikalpa meditation? Shiva is nirvikalpa. He himself is nirvikalpa. He need not meditate to become nirvikalpa, They say this, not understanding the Shastra Tatpari. So Bhagavan are sitting and lying, not doing anything. Things takes place. And therefore it says, Nainad Deva Apnuvan Purva Marshat Tasmin napo matarishva dadhati. Hiranyagarbha also functions. Tasmin sati. That being there, the consciousness being there, Hiranyagarbha can create the world. Means Bhagavan says, I am creator of the creator. One who creates Brahmaji, it gets creative power because I can live in. I empower my mere presence. Therefore, I don't create anything and I am the creator of the creator. Son can say, I don't cook your food, I don't produce electricity for you, and at the same time, I am the one who produces more electricity than your electricity. Manaso javiyate. That is my contradiction. With this background, next two mantras will be easy to understand. We'll see, look into them tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.